Welcome back to Journey into Stories. Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I really love diamond painting, and what I'm going to do, it's called a Wip and Chat. That means work in progress, and I'll just tell some stories. You can work along with me if you diamond paint or do any type of hobby, your choice, or listen to some stories. I don't know where we'll go with this. Or, use it like a podcast. Do what you want to do. Go shopping, clean your house, do something fun. Do however you would like. Today is June 7th, 2024. I am working on a Diamond Art Club canvas. It's Cordon Babe by Ines Guerrero. And it is the size 22 by 30, 56 centimeters by 76 centimeters, and the shape is round. I have been diamond painting for a year as of this month, and I still single place. Some of the pins, if you're new to diamond painting, you could have multi-placers that you can do many diamonds with, or single place. I still single place, and I'm not the greatest at that, but I'm learning. I've tried to multi-place a couple of times, and as of lately, I spend more time trying to straighten up my drills than do anything. So I'm still single placing. This pin is from Amazon. No, it's not from Amazon, guys. This pin is from Diamond Art Club. The wax I'm using is the blue wax that came in with a canvas from Michaels. I like it pretty well. I do want to switch to the micro glue dots that I've heard so much about, though. I think I'm a very heavy placer. This tends to leave wax buildup in places, and then I spend a lot of time wiping it off. And the tray is just one that came in a set off of Amazon. I do hope to expand my hobby and look at some really great shops that do accessories and such for diamond painting. But as of right now, that's what I'm working on. I have my light pad on because I can't see very good without it. And what I am reading is Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. Now, I did go to Barnes & Noble twice this week, and I didn't have much luck at picking any books, but that's okay. I have more than enough books in my home library that I need to get to. This is a book from Book of the Month, and my goal this year is to focus a lot on the Book of the Month books because they're accumulating really, really fast. 2, 3 a month, and that adds up, especially if I'm not picking them up to read. So I'm 20% in. I do own the physical copy with Book of the Month. I'm loving it. I love all of Abby Jimenez books. They're really fun books, and they usually have parts of real life elements to it. So I am enjoying that a lot. Okay, so that's what I'm reading / listening to. And let's get started. I'm slow. You don't have to watch if you don't want. And we'll just get started here. This week, what has been going on this week? Well, I don't know if you all have cameras at your places you live. We have a couple of different cameras. I think one with our security system. See, the wax comes out like that. What a mess. But one with our house alarm, and then we also have Ring cameras. And the Ring has been going off quite a bit. We actually had an incident where we went outside to get in the truck and run some errands, and my husband just looked over, and lo and behold, our mailbox, instead of being normal, it was up and down. It was obvious somebody had hit it, and we obviously didn't know, didn't hear a noise or anything. He claims he heard a noise while he was barbecuing, but I didn't hear any crash or anything like that. And the Ring camera that was facing our driveway, you were able to see a truck hit the mailbox. We live in a cul-de-sac, and this certain individual who we know just comes really fast around the cul-de-sac, which is kind of scary because there's a lot of little kids. And I always think, oh my goodness, you know, you don't want to hit a little kid, or people park their cars in the cul-de-sac, and, you know, just you got to slow up a little bit. But being a youngster, you know, you drive fast sometimes. And sure enough, we saw him hit it. We showed the video to our oldest, our son, and he's like, gosh, you really can see that, you know. And I'm like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Don't go over there or anything, because let's just fix it anyway. But the more I got to thinking, what if, you know, that could have been a kid or something. You know, there's, like I said, a lot of little kids, they play in the cul-de-sac. You think, oh, you're in a cul-de-sac, kind of safe, not on the main road. And I don't know, he could have hit something a lot more important than a mailbox. So my husband said, I'm just gonna go over there and, you know, let him know he hit the mailbox, show him the video, you know, not do anything rude or anything. And these neighbors are pretty quiet, they're to themselves. In fact, the whole cul-de-sac is kind of to themselves. When I was growing up, we all used to have cookouts, and a lot of us became so close. My parents and their parents, of all the kids, that we used to travel together and do all kinds of things. So here it's just different, you know. People just kind of more or less stay to themselves. So he went over there, and the dad answered, and he goes, you know, hi, so and so. I'm not going to say the kid's name. I mean, I can call him Joe. It's not his name. Joe, we heard a noise, and we were hoping Joe didn't hit the mailbox or anything. And sure enough, the Ring camera caught it, you know. And I just wanted to let you know, no big deal. But in other words, just maybe it's a good thing if the parents know. You know, we're not tattletelling, but if one of our two kids hit somebody's property, I would want to know. But more importantly, and I know my kids well enough, you know, kids will be kids, but I know my kids well enough that they would have said something, you know. And the fact that this young man didn't say anything, okay, you know, he's a kid, whatever, you know, upper teens, not, you know, and you just would think he'd say something, but okay. And so the dad goes, oh, we knew that this would happen at some point with Joe, the way he drives. And so they're aware that he's a little more careless behind the wheel. And like I said, don't want it to be a youngster or an animal or whatever. And so he said, you know, and he's in charge of the HOA, by the way. And when we first moved here, I should go back, but when we first moved here, all the rules, they're pretty sticklers, you know, like a lot of homeowners associations tend to be. And we got told, you know, in the covenants or something, that the mailboxes were sold from Chicago. I don't live in Chicago, and it just was kind of one of those deals. So I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna have to get this mailbox from Chicago. I don't know why, but they all look alike and all of that. And the father said, you know, we just changed to where you could just go get a mailbox, Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere, and replace it. And he was nice about it, very nice. He said, just let us know the cost and, we'll pay you. And again, it was more, let's tell the young man what happened, and maybe he'll learn something. Don't whip around so quickly and all of that. Well, then I say it was a couple hours later, because he wasn't home when my husband went over there, the young man. He came over while my husband was repairing the mailbox, and he said, geez, I'm sorry, I didn't even know I hit the mailbox. And he was driving a very, very big truck. And so maybe he didn't know. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. And he goes, my dad said you had a video or something from Ring. And he goes, yeah, I'll show you. And so my husband pulled it up and showed him. He goes, I'll be damn, I did hit the mailbox. And so he apologized. And, that was nice. That was very, very nice. So we're going to take it from face value that he didn't know he hit the mailbox. And again, I'd rather it be a mailbox than a kid, an animal, anything like that. Now, I say that. A couple years ago, though, the same young man, I feel silly starting my first Whip and Chat like this, but, the mailbox, no big deal. But the same young man broke our fence, and we didn't say anything to the parents or anything. And what was worrisome is at the time we had our one golden retriever only, Riley, and it would have been several years ago actually, because the two we have now are 8. Okay, so it's been a while, but he broke the fence to where she could have got out, and it was just kind of a freak thing, backing out the driveway, driving. I just happened to glance over, and the fence was down, and I'm like, oh my God, and he used to climb the fence a lot. He used to try and get in our yard, and I don't know, being a young man, it's whatever. So that I was a lot more upset about, because in that case, I wouldn't have lost my children because they're older, but I would have lost my golden retriever. She would have moseyed out, and God only knows. She probably, I don't even want to think what could have happened to her, So that time I was quite a bit more upset about. And the reason we know is because they were outside in their yard, and we were fixing it again, and they were giggling and pointing, and one of the young men, the neighbor, said, so-and-so, we'll call him Joe. Joe is the one that broke your fence. And again, that was more upsetting because obviously it involved our fur baby at the time. So I don't know. And in fact, when we repaired our fence, we actually have 2 gates on that side, the side next to them, because of what happened. If you're going to break the fence again, then you're going to have to break 2 gates before our dogs now could get out. I don't know. Our dogs are never outside without somebody because they get in enough trouble on their own, digging, and just, they're crazy, the 2 that we have now, in a good way. So that was one thing. And by no means I'm going to talk about 2 stories with Ring camera, and I'm not sponsored by Ring camera by telling you these stories. But that happened in the past week, and also the past week with Ring camera, I got an alert off of the side of our house, on the other side of our fence, that there was a dog that set off the Ring camera. And it was a loose dog, and I'm like, oh, and I thought it was my neighbors, but they have a little guy that just kind of roams, but they watch him with no fence. And it was a big dog. It looked like our Sophie, actually. And my husband texted me and said, "Is Sophie out?" And I said, "No, she's right here on the couch sleeping like she does all the time with Indy. Why?" And he goes, "Well, look at Ring." And it sure enough looked like Sophie. All black, looked like lab mix, terrier, something. And so I'm like, oh God, it makes me sick when I see loose animals. And most of them, that's their life, and they know where they're going and they're safe, but it kind of ruins my day. I feel the need to, hang on, I'm looking for more circles or O's. There they are. I knew they were there. It ruins my day to where I feel the need to get involved, figure out who owns this fur baby that, may or may not be out, that they should be. So my husband, he came upstairs. He was working from home, and he went out front to try and get the guy to come over. And my husband got pretty close, and the male dog, got his hair up in all up, poofed out, and started growling and started barking, and then he just ran off like he was scared. And so my husband's like, he ran off, I didn't get him. And he didn't have no collar, nothing on. So I thought, oh, that sucks. I hope he knows his way home. What can I do? So part of Ring, you can, well, what we have in our neighborhood, and it may be all over, but you can post on Ring. I heard gunshots, I think, and it's fireworks, or I here's a loose cat, anyone missing a kitty, dog, this person is trying to get in vehicles. It goes off all the time. So I thought, well, let's post, because we have the picture of the dog on our Ring, and let's post, and maybe it'll help whoever's dog it is locate it. It's in our neighborhood, whatever. Well, about 30 minutes later, he came back, and he was focusing on that side of the house. The Ring camera went off again, and sure enough, he came back. And so I went out there, and he did the same reaction to me. He growled, he puffed up his hair, and he ran. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm not in shape to chase this dog. I mean, I'd love to, but I can't. If he's running by me, just opening the door and saying, "Come here, come on, let's eat," and he's running away, I'm going to chase him, and it's going to make it worse. And I don't want to be the cause of him getting hit by a car or something like that. So went back inside, and I'm like, damn, So I don't think I can cuss. Sorry. Shucks. So went back inside, and I don't know. He kept doing this. He kept setting off the Ring camera. Well, we decided, let's leave some water out in the garden area. Yeah, maybe he's thirsty. God love him. It was a hot day. Even if it's not hot, he's probably thirsty, and he's coming to that side of the house. And I thought, my neighbors, they let their little terrier something just roam. I mean, they're not always out with them. I thought, what if this dog is vicious or something? I don't want nothing happening to my neighbor's dog. And so you put water down. Well, the next time he came around, he drank the whole bowl almost. And I'm like, oh, I feel better about that. Well, one of the neighbors saw my husband the first time, out there trying to get him corralled over to where we can help him out or something. And he said, and this neighbor's never talked to us either, and which is kind of funny how certain things, animals, and I'm sure kids, and things can open people up. Look at this. What a mess. Hang on. So I hope I'm paying attention enough, putting the things in the right place. This is new to me. Where was I? This is going to happen a lot. So, the neighbor, he said, "Are you trying to get that dog? Is that dog yours?" And no, it's not our dog. Do you know whose it is? No. And he said, "Well, I've had my garage up all day with water and food trying to help catch it, and he don't want no part." He's kind of, I don't know if he's hurt. He's not limping or anything, but he doesn't want to really be bothered up too close. And no, so we posted on Ring. Somebody said, "Oh, the dog's here now." And nobody was claiming him. And, it was going to be storms and everything late at night. And I was scared for this dog. I'm telling you, it ruins my day. And sure enough, we went out there again because he set off the same camera. I mean, we refilled the water, made sure he had water again. So then he knew he was getting water at our house. And he came back again, and we went out there and tried to catch him, and nothing. And then he went in the front and set off that ring. And my husband went out there, and there was a truck van type thing. It was back in my days, the dog catcher, basically, I think is what we used to call him. We used to be scared of the dog catcher is growing up. Hide your dogs. They're gonna get your dogs. I don't know. Paranoia, stupidity. But so the officer, very nice lady, she was out there, and she goes, "I've been chasing this dog for hours. Is this your dog?" Because my husband went out there again. No. And she goes, I can't catch it. My husband goes, "We've tried to get it a few times, and he wants none of us either, And so she said, or my husband said, "We gave it water, and it's drank 2 bowls now. It's coming around." And I went out there and said, "I'm not going to even try and tell you how to do your difficult job, that, chasing dogs and cats and all kinds of things." I mean, there was an alligator on the loose a town over because they did a wild zoo thing for elementary last week of school, and this alligator got out, and I had to call my oldest and say, "Be careful when you let our fur baby outside we love so much. There's an alligator on the loose, and trust me, there's no alligators where I live. You have to go to the zoo for the alligators." So they deal with all kinds of stuff. And I felt so bad. She was so nice. And I said, I can sit out here. But as soon as he sees me, he's going to run. I said, "But if you want to stay right on the side of our house, this is where he keeps showing up." And she said, "No, I can't. I don't know." She goes, "Can we bring the water out here by your mailbox?" This is before the mailbox got hit. No, it was after. The new mailbox, the pretty one. And my husband goes, "Yeah, I'll bring it to, over here," because her truck thing was right there. And she thought, if he comes here and gets water, because now he knows he's getting water, then I'll grab him, with whatever tools she has. And I said, I have dogs. Can I bring, I wanted to bring some food and leave it out here on the side of the house. And she goes, "Oh no, I don't want him fed in case I have to take him down." And I thought, what in the living, what? And I said, "What do you mean take him down? We'll adopt him as soon as we catch him if nobody's going to claim." And she goes, "No, not like that. I gotta use a tranquilizer maybe to catch him." And I said, "Does it hurt him?" And she goes, "No, I mean, it's okay. He'll be okay." And then while we were waiting on the dog, I said, "So what happened?" She says, "Well, we catch him, and then we keep him for 15 days because I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to be put to sleep. God bless him." And she said, "We keep him 15 days, and then we contact one of the 2 shelters that are local to us," which one of the shelters we've gotten all of our animals from, except the Goldens. That was from a family friend. But my kids' animals, everybody came from this one shelter. And then my brother got animals from the other shelter. And so I said, I just want to make sure he's not going to be put to sleep. She goes, oh no. We keep him 15 days, then we contact one of the two shelters, and then he'll be there, and hopefully somebody will claim him if he's not microchipped, but he'll be put up for adoption. He'll be okay. And so I felt a little better in my trauma from being a kid, and the dog catcher. We were so scared. We'd be scared if we were walking our dogs that the poor dog catcher will come and take our dog. This is being a kid. You hear stories about everything. And so I said, okay. And she said, and I may use your fence to catch him if this doesn't work, if he doesn't come right away to the water bowl. And I said, okay, you feel free. I just won't. We don't let our dogs out anyway unless we're out there. And, the fence is locked. Mainly because of my neighbor Joe. And we locked the fence, and of course he climbs it and breaks it usually. Well, that happened once, but I said, yeah, feel free, use our property however you need, and just catch the dog, and I won't bring him food. And I felt so bad not feeding him, but I don't want him to, hope you guys can see, I don't want him to be in more serious distress by if she has to tranquilize him and then he has a problem because he has a full belly. So this is hours, mind you, okay? And then her truck disappears, and I'm like, I'm not leaving the bowl of water down by the mailbox now that she's not there. My husband goes, what if we open the fence and try and catch him ourselves? And I said, that's a great idea. So we put the bowl of water, and he drank two by that time, 2 bowls, and we put it in the backyard. And I'm thinking, he's been coming up this way, sets off the ring, he'll have to go like a U-turn and go into our fence, and we'll catch him. We'll be fast. Wasn't sure how, but put it enough in our yard so it gives us time. We're not young spring chickens anymore, guys. It's going to take us a while. And so my husband rigged up a system where he tied a rope to the fence, the gate. That's what it is, the gate. Don't mean to shake the cameras. And he dragged it to where the side door, all we had to do was pull it, and we tested it several times, and the gate would close when we did this. And I'm like, God, he's a genius. The stuff he comes up with. So we were prepared, right? We were prepared. So I don't know. I was doing dishes or something, and my windows behind the sink, I can see the backyard where the gate's open. And I just happened to look up, and by golly gee, that dog is in our fence. And I'm like, the ring didn't go off. There was no notifications on my phone. What did he do? How did he trip the ring when it was going off nonstop that day? Nonstop. So I ran out into the garage, and I grabbed the rope, and I opened the door because I wanted to make sure when I closed it, because I didn't have my phone to see if he was there, because we set up another camera outside too, it sounds like we're paranoid, guys. We're not. But there was an extra camera that my husband rigged, and he set it outside on a table, and I wanted to make sure if I pull the rope, he's not going to be in the gate. He's going to be safe. I'm not going to shut him in the gate. So I opened the door a little, and I opened it more, and where was he? He was out of the frickin' fence. He and the ring never went off. and he didn't come back. But he drank a third, that was his third bowl of water that he drank. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I, I have no idea. And it was upsetting me as the day was going. Because, of course, I think of my fur babies, my kids' fur babies. I would want, if any of them got out, somebody to, try, instead of, there's a loose animal on such and such street. Well, by the time, if it's my animal, I guarantee it ain't going to be there long. They'll wander, especially the golden retriever. They don't sit still. And so a couple hours went by, and the ring stopped going off. And I'm like, well, he's I'm just going to pray. He found his way back. Somebody got him. I don't know how, because he was fearful acting, And I'm just going to pray that somebody got him, because we're going to have bad weather that night. And I don't want to think of things like that, I mean, I have enough worries. I always worry about my husband, my kids. They're the loves of my life. But, I don't want to worry about this poor dog. And a couple hours went by, and my husband goes, I'm just going to call our city where the officer was from. I'm not going to say my city here for obvious reasons, but I'm going to call and see if the officer got him. Maybe she's not going to call us and say, yeah, I got him. And he called, and she answered, because I hadn't seen her vehicle in our cul-de-sac, lately. And she said, I got him. I left for a little bit. I came back. I was going to take you up on your offer of using your fence to catch him. And sure enough, I saw him running up the street, and I got him with a tranquilizer thing, and got him here at the shelter. He's doing good. He's safe. I think she said he wasn't microchipped. Yeah, because nothing about the owner. And she said again, we'll keep him 15 days, and then if nobody comes and claims him, then we'll contact one of the two shelters, like I said earlier. And so that was a huge relief, I'll tell you. That was quite the deal, quite the nervousness for this poor guy, but it made me feel better. And I'm telling the kids, and the kids are like, oh, be careful, don't get bit, something that a parent would tell their kids, don't get bit. And they're worried, like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, no. I told both our kids, my daddy did this amazing thing, and we're going to catch him. And he outsmarted both of us. And we just couldn't get him. But the officer did catch him, and he's safe. So that's where Ring came in handy. One, kind of a hit and not tell the neighbors with the mailbox, and the other, trying to catch a loose puppy dog. So that was fun. Let's see. Trying to think. Today, this is going to be quite interesting. My grays are coming in strong, guys, and so I'm like, all right. Last time I got my hair colored, I'm a natural auburn reddish hair, but the older I get, the darker it gets, okay, and then more grays. So a couple of years ago, started doing some coloring of my hair at home, and then I found, well, my cousin used to do my hair. My mom used to do my hair. She was a hairdresser. She was amazing. But I discovered Ulta. Now, it's reasonably priced. I think I like it, or my youngest likes it the most, because she gets my points. I put it under her phone number, and she'll tell me from time to time, oh, look what you got me because of your points, And so she gets a kick out of it. But so I had a hairdresser that I loved. Like my first time I went to the salon outside of my mom, well, she would do it at home, or my cousin at the salon. So I found this hairdresser at Ulta, kind of far away. I mean, I would pass two Ultas to get to the one. And I really liked her. And come to find out, her family lives in the neighborhood next to mine. It's just small world. She told me where she went to high school. I'm like, oh my God, that's where my son and daughter went. You know, what's your name? What year when I first met her and everything. Of course, you know, showed pictures of my beautiful children. Do you know? Do you know? You know, these two? No, and so anyway, she was doing my hair for about a year and a half. And she was doing good. You know, she would mix up kind of her own concoction of color, and I liked it. There were two colors that she would do. The one I have now, and that was when she wanted to make me sassy, and fall. She wanted to practice a color on my head, and I said, go for it. I had a supernatural convention I was going to, and she's like, oh, this'll be a fun color for fall. And I said, yeah, I don't care, just don't make me look too ridiculous. You know, I'm not too young to pull off certain colors. And I liked it, you know, it was fine. But I also liked the first color that she came up with herself, because it was more of my color throughout my life, you know. So it wasn't as shocking as the color that I have now. And I thought she did an excellent job with that. Well, she left Ulta, and I wanted to follow her. I did. She was good. She was a good kid, and I liked her. But she was going to be off 6 or 9 months. She was having first baby, you know, and by all means, take time off if you can. You know, do what you want to do. It's your life. Do whatever. Do what is fitting for your family that you need to do. So it was going to be a while, and I'm like, you know, I kind of, one of those, I felt kind of like I was cheating on her if I went to somebody else. But I did, you know, while I waited for her, you know, and I did check the prices. And my daughter was like, "You're not gonna go to her, are you?" And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "I got the text. She's not gonna stay at Ulta. She's going to a private salon." I said, "Yeah, I know." And honestly, my daughter kind of got upset, because my daughter got a text also, because she went to her. And so she was texting her clients, "This is where I'm going to be. You know, I'm going to take some time off to be with baby, but I'm going to be back. I hope you can still be a client. You know, this is the location." And it was really close to my daughter's place. And so she goes, "But I really like you getting the Ulta points, you know." And I'm like, "Oh, you know." So I went to somebody else anyway, because it was time. The hair was pretty shabby. Shabby? I don't know if that's a good or bad word. It was looking needy. And so I found this other girl. Now, I didn't go to the same Ulta. I went to one that's literally around the block, maybe 3 blocks from my house. I'm like, this is so convenient. You know, the other one was about 25 minutes away. But if I saw one of my kiddos, my oldest, my son, you know, it was convenient. And then I could, you know, hang out with him, and it was right there. But if I'm not going to see him, and I'm not going to see my daughter that was closer in, you know, this works out well, real close to our house. So I started going to this other Ulta. Now, when I went, I had the same hair color from like growing up, you know, and through my adult time until it started getting dark. And I met a young lady, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And she also went to the same high school as my kids. And she did a really great job on my hair. The only problem is she could only find one hair color in the system. And I'm like, no, there should be two, so and so, I almost said her name, not that anybody would probably know her, but so and so had two colors. She would alternate. And my new hairdresser, the young gal, she said, no, there's only one in the system. And I'm like, oh my, where's the and then I'm like, I don't think she put it in the system. And that was the color I loved the most. Not the one to make me look crazy going to Supernatural, but the other color that I grew up with. That was the color I loved the most. And I'm like, oh no, and she goes, well, I could do this color. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm taking up your time. And I said, could you do something similar to, no, I'm kind of new and don't know how to mix the colors, but I have this, what? She had the formula in the computer or whatever. And I said, you know what, just let's go with that. That's fine. Because I'm thinking, it's not her fault at all. And I'm not even going to say it's my first hairdresser's fault, but boy, she's got the secret, and she left. And so I'm like, all right, do this. So I've been going to this young gal for, I don't know, a year. I never went back to my original because, like I said, my daughter, for one, it's pretty far. For two, it's quite a bit more expensive, and I don't need all that bouginess on my head. But also, it kind of upset me that my one hair color wasn't in the system. So I've been stuck with this hair color, and then just last time, my young gal, she said, I told her, I said, how do we find the color that I kind of grew up with, the more auburn, not so dark, And she goes, well, next time, if you call me, no, next time your appointment, sorry guys, I thought I messed up. I didn't call her. She goes, next time, like about a week or two before your appointment, bring in a color, a picture, and then I can go to the beauty place and I can have their help trying to figure out the color system for it to be. And I said, oh God, that's wonderful. Okay. Well, I still had a box here at the house. And I'm like, oh my God, my appointment's next Thursday. And I got to hurry and take it to her, So I dropped it off tonight before I came down to do this. Whoops, my light pad. Sorry, guys. And I said, here's the color. This is from the box that I would color. And I'm thinking, it's still not my color. The first hairdresser really got, so this box color is truly not even my hair color that I had growing up. I'm trying to bring back my original. And but I did. There was a lady that kind of looked like my mom there who worked there, and she grabbed my hair. She goes, oh, it's so beautiful. I said, this mop, it's a mess. Look at it. No, and I know they like to compliment. I'm back in the hair salon place, and I said, here it is. Here's the color. And she goes, okay, I'll see you next Thursday. Now, she's new. I love her. I told the older lady that was talking about my hair and touching it, I told her, I said, boy, I sure love, and I'll just call her T. Her name starts with T. But I said, I sure love T. She's wonderful. She goes, yeah, we all love T. Now, I don't know what kind of hair I'm going to come out with next Thursday. It's going to be better than what is going on right now, because this mess is crazy. But, I just hope, because she's young and that's wonderful, But if she's not sure, which I think she would, because she said, oh, I'll just ask somebody to help me, I just hope it turns out right. The box color to the Ulta color, I don't know. We'll see. I may we'll see what happens. But now that I've finally decided I want to do a whip and chat, doesn't really matter because you're not seeing my mop of a head, you know. But if I do the on location journey read stuff that I love doing with the books and reading them out, you know, in settings of the books, that I'll tell you guys, those are my favorite. Those are the hardest to film because timing has to be right, and I'm not always reading the entire book there, but I come really close. I think one of them I had to read going up, you know, but depending on what, I love those. But so I don't know if it's pretty weird. I may just be in a hat for all of those because I have some of those planned. I just, one of the locations I need it to be, I don't even know if during the week is going to matter anymore because kids are all out of school where I live, you know. So the location I'm going to go to for the book, it's a popular place with, you know, I had, growing up, I had many birthday parties here, you know, so it's a fun place, and, you know, so, and I need, I don't want to be pushy with any of the kids because it's a kid place, adult place, all age place. I love going there, and I'm not a kid at heart, but obviously not a kid anymore, you know. And so I want to do the timing. These ABs are kind of hard. I want to do the timing just right, so, you know, if I'm filming, there's not kiddos behind me that don't belong to me. I mean, I'm not, unless my kids said put me on film, I'm keeping their privacy. They're my babinos. They're my babies for life, and I'm not gonna stick a camera in their face or anything. And I gotta be cautious of who's around, and I don't want to film somebody that's right there either. And where I'm going, it's a popular place. So I don't think if it would matter me going there on a Wednesday or a Saturday is what I'm getting at. So it's a little more challenging, but that's the next book that I have to do. So I got to get there. So I'm excited to do that one. And we're going to go out of town later in the year, and I have a bunch of them that I want to do when we're out of town. So, because of what the books are and what the locations are that we're going to be at. So I'm just really excited for that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let me see. I told you what I'm reading, the Abby Jimenez book. I also want to read the Bridgerton series. I have the Bridgerton books. I've had them quite a while. I watched season 1 of Bridgerton, I think, when it got released. I just thought, well, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about this show, and I feel like it was like around Christmas or something. Season 1 is what I want to think. And my husband was doing things, and the kids weren't here at home, you know. They got their own places and things. And so I just found myself, I'm not going to pick it up. I just found myself so entranced with Bridgerton season 1. I'm like, what on earth am I watching right now? And why can I not stop it? You know, I loved season 1. And so then I bought the books. I'm like, I'm going to collect this whole series. I need more of this in my life. And then season 2 came out, and it was released all together like season 1, you know, all the episodes. And I knew when it was coming out. I had the certain snacks and everything ready, and I'm like, I'm not going to do much. I'm going to, oh no, where'd the AB go? I'm going to sit here on my tush, my gugutsa, and I'm going to watch all of season 2 today. And this was a year or two ago when it came out. Maybe it was last year. I don't remember. And oh, if anything could get better than season 1 for me, it was season 2. I just loved that whole storyline. But then I heard they were going to do season 3 on the two that I love. Colin, Penelope and Colin. Now, I'm so upset. I have to wait for part 2. I think it comes out this week. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the day I'm getting my hair dyed mysteriously. Who knows what color? And I'm telling you, if it's that day, I'd be so tempted to call T and say, can I make it a different day? But I'm not going to. But I have a way that my husband can sign me in on Netflix. I'm not tech savvy at all. And if it's the day I'm getting my hair done, and there's times T isn't talking with me, you know, she gives time for my hair to do its thing. Well, I'll be darn sure I'm going to be watching that with headphones. But I have watched it 6 times, that part 1, since it came out, and I think there's a month in between part 1 and part 2, and I have it memorized. Are you kidding me right now? Now those two, love them, love. So I'm so excited for part 2. I know there's a stray drill somewhere here, and I'd be damned if I can't find it. Anyway, I'm so excited for part 2 to come out. So I'll be, and then hopefully between season 3 and season 4, maybe I can read the series that I own. So we'll see. Hang on, I did write a few notes to kind of keep me on track. Let's see. Oh, just this, and then I'll say something else. But I started to video for the reading vlog that I'm on. Let's see. It was last week. We're moving my youngest. My oldest will be moving if he decides he wants to move. I don't know if he wants to yet or not. We'll see. It's his choice. You know, Mama and Daddy's there for both of them whenever they need us. But we're moving the youngest, my daughter, and yeah, I don't know. It's hard work, guys. It's hard work. I think I mentioned in my reading vlog, and I hope I can find the all the video, because this has taken longer to do this reading vlog. It's been several days. And I think I said we got this wagon. I think it came from Walmart, but then maybe Costco. I'm pretty sure Walmart. It's been a lifesaver. We put the Rubbermaid tubs, the boxes, where my daughter is. She has an elevator. She's on the top floor, you know, but she's got an elevator. And this, even though it's hard, it's not as hard as last year. And I think last year, because she was also on the top floor, but there was no elevator. We didn't have the wagon. And it just was a lot harder. Also, that same month, both of them, in June, there it is. There's one of them. Gosh dang it. In June, it was time for both of them to move. Okay? So we moved back-to-back kids, and they have a lot of stuff. It's not like when I moved out, well, when I went away to college, one of the colleges, for a few months, and I got homesick. I missed my mom and dad. I missed my room. It was the first time I ever had to share a room, and I had to share a room with 2 other girls. One was a good friend of mine. The other one was a stranger. And I'm not friends with the good friend of mine at all, or the stranger. It's a whole thing. I could do a whole nother thing on that fiasco of part of my life. But I would come home every weekend, and you know, so that was the only time I didn't live at home, was those 3-4 months of my freshman year of college. And it wasn't even full time. Like I said, I would come home. You know, I missed my dogs growing up. I missed my bed. I hated sharing a room with two other girls. I have a brother. It's just me and my brother growing up. So we shared a bathroom. That was kind of tough as it was. One of those Jack and Jill bathrooms. But, so I don't know. I never was used to that. That sounds very, very bratty. I know. But it's a change. And then I came home because I didn't do very good at that semester at all. It was a learning curve, a much needed learning curve of what life is like not living at home. But then I didn't move out again until I actually got married. And so it's quite different. When I moved out, we didn't have anything. And my kids, neither one are married. One's in a long-standing relationship, wonderful. And my other one is dating somebody, I think, but she's not ready to share info yet. Okay. Just make sure your friends know this guy in case the world's kind of kooky. Make sure I know who to get in touch with if something happens to you. Mama's can be mean. But so when I moved out, it was my clothes, and we decorated. We got a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm going down memory lane here. And it was a 2-bedroom apartment, so it was the master bedroom was my husband and I's. We got married, then I moved in after. Old-fashioned Italian Catholic. I got in an argument once with my parents and said I'm moving in with them, and they said, well, not if you want the wedding, and that was like 2 weeks away. And I believed them, and I was excited to have a party wedding, a nice wedding. I was young. So when I moved, I had clothes, my 6 Cabbage Patch Kids, and some stuffed animals. I used to collect stuffed animals. And in our second bedroom, I thought, I'm an interior decorator. This is so fun. So we had my husband's bed from what he moved out, and I had my Cabbage Patch Kids on the bed and my stuffed animals. And my husband used to collect swords, and he had his swords hanging on the wall. And I thought, God, we're grown-ups. I mean, I was a baby. Let's face it, decorating with dolls and stuffed animals. I was a youngin'. But so no, my kids have way more clothes than they have a lot. They've been doing their adult thing and all of that. So they got grown-up stuff and but make no mistake, books are horrible to move. Books are the worst. There's that other diamond. I found you. So this way, it's been easier, and it's been several weeks for my daughter for us to move her. My son, we have later in the year if he decides he wants to move or not. Their prerogative. We'll be there with whatever they need. Because that's just how we want to do it. We're just there to help. So I don't know. I think that's about it. I don't know how long this Whip and Chat has been. I hope it's recording. I'm not very tech savvy. I didn't get the box done. This is the first piece, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone's done this at all. I just feel it's a lot of confetti, because there's a random hair, a golden retriever hair. I feel like it's a lot of confetti. I feel like each block has taken longer than normal, and I try and do all the colors I can see, and then whoops, I got to get the colors out. I missed the same colors, and then I got to get the same color. I missed more. So, but I am having fun. Do I have a preference of confetti or color blocking with a lot of the same colors? No, I like a good mix of both. The confetti is a little harder for my eyes to pick up all the colors spread out, the different colors, but I don't know. It's not boring at all. I would not say that at all. But I've enjoyed this hobby immensely, and what I normally do is I will diamond paint and I will listen to an audiobook. That is my favorite. And usually I try and, if it's kind of a scary type thing or whatever, I try and, I don't know, I try and match it up as best as I can. When I started this, the book I was listening to, not going to say because this is going somewhere else, but it was really fitting to what I'm doing now. So that was a lot of fun. But this book is perfectly fine, and did a little diamond painting this morning and listened. And occasionally, if I'm not in the audiobook mood, then I have a nice TV here that I can just put on whatever I'm into at the time. So right now it's Bridgerton. And if you guys are interested, it's really great. I love it. It may not be for everybody like anything, but I'm really enjoying myself with Bridgerton. So I think for a first Whip and Chat, that will be what it is. And I hope whatever you're doing, you're taking care of yourself, taking care of others, being kind. Be kind to yourself. It's so important. Everything is so important. You got to be kind to yourself and others, and just find joy in what you're doing. If it's a book, great. Reading, great. Any people with kids, I miss my kids so much now that they're not, home. Oh, I miss my babies. So, summer was my favorite time. I remember once we had an adjuster come to the house who had to let us know what was going to go on with the flood. And it was, I don't know, probably towards the end of summer it had to have been. And she goes, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I get jobs here and there, but mainly stay at home because my husband travels so much, and the kids and everything." She goes, "I bet you're ready for the kids to go back to school." And I never was. I know, there's times as a parent, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And it could be crazy, but I'm going to tell you, more than anything, I truly loved being with them. There were times when they would have baseball and softball games, and I'd be like, it's like 95 degrees. Daddy's out of town. Do you guys want to go, or can I buy you off with toys and movies and dinner out? And let's do a camp out in the basement where it's cool. So I always loved when there'd be snow days. Well, for one, I can't drive in the snow worth anything, ice, whatever. But I truly loved all the time I had with the kids. And I do now. They're amazing adults. Amazing. Very proud of them. But my point is, it goes in a flash. So if you have little ones, it could be hard at times, yes, and you want to do everything right by them, and teaching it could be a lot, but just really cherish that, because I swear, just yesterday we were bringing my first home, and then bringing my second home, and then now they're amazing still, but they're not home, and it's a big miss of my babies. So if it's summertime, and enjoy. If you got littles, middles, upper, whatever, it could be crazy, but enjoy it. Take time to enjoy everything as much as you can. So with that, I hope you have a good evening, good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys. Look, I'm shaking the damn table because I don't know how to do this. Bye, guys.